Now, you may have realised that I never really talked about my previous employer much, and you may think, well, what, do you just not like to think about your job, or was there another reason? Well, there's another reason. Quite simply, the company, in my opinion, was not worried about people commenting online about the company. They were absolutely paranoid about it. They had in the employment contract that every post that you put on Facebook must have "this is opinion of me" and not the opinion of the company. This is what they expect you to put on the bottom of the Facebook post. Most people didn't. But if you were to say something nasty about them on Facebook, they would find out. They were particularly on getting into Facebook. According to another employee, they used to occasionally go on Facebook, I think it was like once a month or something, and check all the employees to see they weren't bad-mouthing the company. I'm not joking. That's what I was told. And they obviously ain't looking at YouTube, otherwise I would have had a bit of a possible talking to. I'm not sure, but I would have thought I would be talked to about all my YouTube videos. So anyways, I'm out now, and I'm going to talk about who they were and what they done. Now, it was Air Radiators Lara. Now, there was also Air Radiators Thailand, which is another factory they have in Thailand, primarily for Caterpillar, who also has factories in Thailand, but they've got this thing about what's tariffs, basically, in Thailand, and if there's anything less than 75% of the parts of something made in Thailand, if there's any less than that, it gets a tariff. If there's 75% or more, it doesn't get a tariff. So that factory does a bit of stuff for Australia, odds and sods that are more a few simpler things, like fan guards and stuff like that, things that don't have to be perfectly in spec. They're also going to get into intercoolers, but they've done a few, but haven't fully got into them yet. They probably have, if you're watching this in 2014. But they had them over there primarily for Caterpillar in Thailand, and they also had another place called Air Radiators Industrial, which was actually originally CBM Radiators. Now, all these are owned by Adrad Group. And Adrad Group has a lot of different bits and pieces. They've got a few NatRad franchises that they've bought, and they've got a lot of stuff. They do high performance stuff for cars, but part of the company philosophy in the company statement, or whatever you call it, at Air Radiators was that they would never touch the car market because it was too cutthroat and and whatnot. They stuck to good stuff. I mean, really top-notch stuff. I'm going to explain a few of those. I probably shouldn't tell you the customers, but this will give you an idea of the way these people were. Fales, which is a military manufacturer. They do a lot of government vehicles. I saw quite a number of radiators for the Bushmaster come through, which is something we got that doesn't die when you drive over an IED. They sort of very well designed to the point that they've actually got a separate internal fuel tank, all honeycombed, so that if your outer fuel tank cops a blast, you can switch over fuel tanks and keep going. They've also got the suspension made so that if you hit a blast, it throws the suspension away from it as opposed to pierce through the floor. This is some of the stuff that my brother-in-law's told me. They are very well designed. They've got a boat-shaped bottom to deflect blast. I mean, they're fantastic. They've hit quite several hundred IEDs with them, and nothing's ever happened. So we build the radiators for them. Also, Clark forklifts, the great big container forklifts at the docks that unload the shipping containers off the ships. We've done ones for them. Frunter cranes, who are your cranes they use for construction sites and stuff like that. Your big mobile cranes with the big wheels and then your big telescoping arm. We've done them as well. Cummins Rail, which is freight trains. Bombardier, which was actually passenger trains. We've got ones over here that have actually got a little diesel engine under the floor, but they're a passenger train. But the radiator and the intercooler is all on the roof, and the whole shebang is all stainless steel. I used to quite often see those getting rejuvenated because they were going through a process of basically replacing all the cores and all the bits and pieces, and then, you know, re-putting it all back inside the stainless steel casing. And yeah, there was also one that I cannot find on the internet called Tominaga mining shovels. My gosh, you had to see these things to believe them. They were way higher than me. They were 2.6 tonne with no water in them. They had 4 cores on the top or on one side, and then another 4 cores a different kind on the other side. First lot it'd go through would be what they call the high temperature cores. So it'd go through 4 of them, and then it'd go through a big pipe, and then it'd go through the 4 low temperature cores. And these things, you had to see them to believe them. I mean, you can't get your head around this stuff that is literally 1.5 long wheelbase cars tall. I mean, the length of 1.5 long wheelbase Cadillacs or whatever, that was the height of these things. I mean, I'm not joking, they were massive. The other one we done stuff for, quite a bit of stuff, was Caterpillar underground mining. We actually had the worldwide contract for that. And we also used to do a lot of Caterpillar spare parts for other types of Caterpillars. I don't know about Caterpillar mining trucks, but Hitachi mining trucks, the massive big dump trucks, you know, we're talking, you know, 30, 40, even 50 tonne. They had one that we, in prototype form, a 50 tonne one. They wanted us to do it, and we'd build a prototype for them. You know, these were huge radiators, some of these. Even some of the cores are astronomical, you know. There's one that was basically up to my shoulder, and that was just the centre part, and then they bolt a whole bunch of them together in this framework of tanks and stuff. Kalgoorlie Power Systems, we call them Kel Power. That was another one. They make miniature diesel power stations. They're basically massive, like 24 cylinder or, you know, V12 or whatever diesels, and then they'll have like 8 of the buggers together, and that'll supply power to the mine. And we used to have to make radiators to suit all that. You know, we had people, the salespeople, I used to sit with some of them when I was in the Kenworth department. I used to sit with them at lunch, and they'd be telling you about how they went to Japan and what they had over in Japan, and how they went scuba diving in Papua New Guinea, and how they went to the oil and gas show in Texas or no, Vegas it was, and all these different stories. They spent so much time in Japan, it wasn't funny. I mean, they damn near should have had an office in Japan. Let's just say that it's a pretty big company. And then there's PinFin and process cooling, which they're trying to get more into the oil and gas industry, you know, with the process cooling with the PinFin. But that's sort of oil refineries and stuff like that, and other factories, they use that. And also, we used to do stuff for offshore oil rigs, backup generator for offshore oil rigs, a lot of stuff like that. But I'll probably make a second video